What is up, brothers and sisters? Kunal here, Bulls on Wall Street. Hey, the march goes on in the markets. The QQQ's up 0.4%. The SPY was up 0.2%. And the IWM does what the IWM does, which is just kind of fart around. So, overall, the market is still grinding higher. There was a small shift that I noticed personally today that I think we do need to take an eye on over the coming days, and that is that the momentum stocks that had been really rolling hot started to roll over today, starting with RGTI down 5%, IONQ down 5%. A QBTS had a quick spike in the morning here, and the chase was on. And then it just got rugged, right? And so that's telling you, when you see strength get faded off, that is an indication of distribution. There's people selling there, right? When you take the breakout and people sell into it, distribution. So there's a shift happening in the markets from these kind of momentum names back into the lame sevens, and you're starting to see some good-looking charts in some of the larger names. So if you take a look here, right, you have Microsoft here that looks like it's kind of bottoming out for a little bit of a breakout. Old NVIDIA here also, right, is kind of just bottoming out here, basing out here for a little bit of a breakout. It's been basing out for about a month. So these are kind of a couple things to keep an eye on. I noticed that some of those, right, Momo's got shot, and then some of these are starting to look better. If you look here at MU, that break out to all-time highs, and then, right, you've got just a flag pattern forming here. It looks pretty good, right? And so what we have here, I think, is just a small shift in, some of those momentum stocks back into the lame sevens. And, that we'll have to keep an eye on, all of that. So let's dig into the watch list. There were some other names that I thought were looking decent for tomorrow. There was some good just momentum all over the board here. So if we look here, I would add in something like this ENTA, this is a biotech stock. I had 17 million shares of volume all day long trender. This is probably going to be a good day trader for tomorrow, especially if we get a little bit of a weak open. We'll see what's up on this. Genie in the bottle here. You got third test of resistance. I think something like that could break out. Coin has got just a nice little kind of wedge that's been forming for quite some time. And, one of the things about, all these crypto stocks and stuff like that, MSTR had a little bit of a reversal here today too. And so those are kind of some names that I would, personally just kind of keep not necessarily MSTR because it's just a rendy, but I think coin's going to be really an interesting one to watch. And then look, you saw Mara, you saw some of these other ones also running. So look, the Wolf Nation, man, you got the Wolf Nation here, 1180 breakout. Man, it's clean, it's sexy. CIPHER here, after the big push into all-time highs, you pulled back into the bone zone. And so now you're kind of making your way back up into that 15. That's a really good location right there. Galaxy, dude, this thing looks fantastic. It really does. 8 million shares in volume. You got the third test of this kind of zone. Dude, I like it. I like it. Hood Nation. Look, Hood Nation also runs when the crypto stocks run. It's running all the time, whether it's fucking crypto or nothing. But this is just something you got to keep on your watch list. The range is becoming incredible in it. It's becoming one of these very liquid momentum names that you can day trade back and forth for weeks to months. And, as it's just riding up these MAs, it was obviously $30 come, this spring, but it doesn't show any signs like it's weakening, right? And so we want to keep riding that. It is at the top of the Bollinger Band, as today was a little bit of an expansion in ATR. But let's see if it kind of dumps down in the next couple days. It might give us an entry. A lift. Dude, this thing is ready to party right now, right? So you got, post news, and then right about 10-day consolidation here. Holding the EMAs, 2360 is that old high, but it's right there. I keep Etsy on the watch list too. If you look here, like this is the base on Etsy. It goes back quite some time here. Fairly lower float stock, 80 million shares, 26 million shares in volume today. Dude, we need to do this. Now look, the news is weird. Etsy to transfer stock listing to New York Stock Exchange from NASDAQ. I don't know if that means anything. Then, you had OpenAI partners with Etsy. Shopify launch instant checkout in ChatGPT. So it looks like OpenAI, OpenAI is already picking some favorites here, right? So, that non-bias is starting to get a lot more bias, right? So you got Etsy, you got Shopify. And you'll start to see a lot more of these kind of collaborations inside here. But I think that's going to be a big thing. Right? There's a billion people that use OpenAI now. So good for Etsy. Let's add it to the watch list. Mara. Look, Mara's a turd. Or no getting around it. It's broken a lot of hearts. It had a big volume pop today, big range. One of the bigger range days it's had in quite some time. I think, we give this thing a whirl if it breaks that trend line. Hey, these disk drives, I don't know what's going on here, but man, we gotta, every time you look at it, you're like, no way, man, this for a disk drive, but you can't argue this price action. Like, let's keep these on the watch list too. Wi-Fi, to me, this is I was nibbling on a little bit of this for a swing trade into the bone zone. Guys, when you have these kind of IPO stocks and they retest the breakouts on the bone zone, add that, but it's actually day tradable too. You got more than enough range here. $1, $2, $3 back and forth. The range is 11% per day. So it's a good day trader. If it opens weak tomorrow, I'll try to red to green this and see if we can break this thing out. In my day trade account, I don't day trade in my swing trade account because, you don't want to cross swords, right? You don't want to cross swords with your buddy unless she's super hot. Now, pot stocks were going today. So keep an eye on this. You got really some levels here on like ACB. If you clear out, let's call this 650 and some change. I think that's got some action. I don't know what's up with BKKT. I was looking at it here and it had like 1 million shares in volume. I was like, I don't know. And then it just tightened up. Guys, this is like picture perfect trading action, right? Like when they just tighten up that range and they congeal like that. Oh, you can't get better than that. That's just a picture perfect setup for intraday trading. CLSK, big volume on this thing too. Like, dude, we need to be, let's see if we get a week open on these things. Like, we got to go. And then MU, I thought, has still got a chance too, right? So you're retesting its all-time highs. Retesting all-time highs post earnings, right? So like when the earnings came out, it kind of dumped down for a couple days. Nothing crazy to be expected after such a run. This has got the look too, right? This has got the look here too. Only red flag, we got a couple kind of distribution candles here that we do need to be aware of. But the big hairy Indian butt is that it's a good looker. So let's see what we can do. I love you guys. Peace.